What's up, everybody? This is Simply Marvelous from Philadelphia. Uh, Philadelphia's best, in my own opinion, boxing trainer, professional boxing trainer. Um, just want to talk to you real briefly about the fight coming up April the 13th between Guillermo El Chacao Rigondeaux and Nonito the Filipino Flash Donaire. Pretty exciting fight. I'm very excited about this fight. You want to see explosion. You want to see speed and quickness, power, just about everything you can ask for in a fight. Two of the best lighter weight fighters on the planet. One's from the Philippines, obviously, and other guy, Guillermo, is from Cuba, which he had to defect to come over here to America just to be a professional boxer. One of the most accomplished and greatest amateur fighters of all time. You know, that's when I first laid eyes on him back in 2000 in the Olympic Games. Just a beautiful boxer. Southpaw. And I don't really like southpaws too much. But, you know, when you're great, you're great. So he has what it takes. He's here now. I was a big fan of Nonito Donaire's until Rigondeaux came to America. And when I heard that news, it was like music to my ears. So, you know, glad to have Guillermo here. And this is his time and his opportunity. What I see Nonito being somewhat more of the unorthodox fighter. He's kind of like the Roy Jones type of guy where he can do so many things from so many different angles and movements. Which is beneficial if the guy that you're fighting allows you to dictate the fight that way. But as Roy got a little older and lost just about that much of his reflexes, then you start to see when he had to become more of a pure boxer, what happened to Roy. You know, he started to get exposed just a bit more. I see the same thing in Donaire. He's not as old as Roy Jones, obviously, but I think with the guys he fought, they were a little over the hill at the time he beat them, except for maybe Vic Darchinyan, Montiel, RSA, those guys, Noshioka. They were like right there, leveled off at the time Nonito got in there. So timing is everything. I just want to say this challenge for Donaire is a different type of challenge. Donaire is a great fighter, has explosive punching power and everything like that. Pretty much has all the tools, but maybe it just appears to look that way because of the guys that they put in front of him. Next weekend, when he fights Guillermo El Chacao Rigondeaux, I think that's when everything for Donaire will somewhat gravitate back down to earth, and he'll be exposed. Rigondeaux is everything you can ask for in a fighter. Classic boxer puncher, classic counter puncher, great hand speed, great reflexes, very defensive. I think right there pretty much on par with Floyd Mayweather. And I'm not just saying that. Anybody that watched Guillermo fight, and if you're a purist in a boxing game, you would see exactly what I'm talking about. Just everything. Guillermo has it all. Punching power, speed, the movement, angles, ring generalship, just everything. Everything. I'm just trying to get it all in there to talk about Rigondeaux. It's a fight I, again, can't wait for. It represents maybe the closest thing to what Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Manny Pacquiao would have brought to the table, it kind of compensates for that somewhat. You know, maybe we still may get that fight one day. I know a lot of people may have lost interest, but again, the pure boxing fans and the fighters themselves would know if that fight was ever to be made. Most people would still sit in front of their TVs or be actually in the arena somewhere, maybe in Vegas, watching that fight still to this day. So I'm still hoping for it and pushing for it in support of the fight. But right now, this is what we have. Right here, what you watching, right behind me, Rigondeaux versus Donaire. I think, again, right there on par. Right on par with Mayweather versus Pacquiao. You just have to be in the sport, you know, deep to understand that. Donaire's a monster. Like I said, great fighter. I just think that, again, Rigondeaux is a little bit different. He was educated to the fullest. You know, it pushes me to go into the gym. When I go into the gym every day or every other day to train my fighters, it pushes me and also to train my son, who's 8 years old. He's like a boxing prodigy. He's on my YouTube channel, Simply Marv 35. His name is Little Future, Jameer, aka Little Future. So check him out on that channel. But it pushes me to want to make sure I'm bringing everything into the gym that day, everything that I could think of. And to me, the only way to do that is to watch this guy here. I see everything in him. That's the way I would want to teach my fighters. He brings everything. Guillermo brings everything. So, again, the excitement is there. We're about a week away. Just can't wait. What more can you ask for? You know, maybe after this fight, which I assume that Rigondeaux will win it inside of 9 or 10 rounds, with Donaire maybe even quitting on his stool or quitting in his corner. Hopefully we can get Gary Russell Jr. You know, if he continues to progress, great fighter, great hand speed. Another southpaw, has all the tools. But I just think it's a mental thing. It's psychological. Sometimes it's not just your physical tools. And I think Rigondeaux has seen it all in the amateurs. He's fought every type of style that you can think of. I mean, come on. 350 to 400 amateur fights, 2 Olympic gold medals. How could you have not seen every style? And people like to make the point that professional boxing and amateur boxing is different. Well, maybe so. Obviously, you don't have on the headgear, which in the next Olympics, they're changing. They're taking the headgear off completely. The gloves are smaller. So, yeah, from that aspect, the scoring system, of course, you know, things they look for, more head punches and combination punches as opposed to working the body and getting points for that. But I know from my own personal experiences, boxing. But again, it's boxing. So Rigondeaux has seen just about every style. Maybe before a lot of those guys turned pro, he had to see them in the amateurs. So just to say that he don't understand this level of boxing and things like that. Come on, the guy became a world champion in under 10 fights. What does that tell you? And I don't think he's being disrespectful in asking for a fight like this and finally getting it. But he's been asking for this fight from almost like a year and a half, 2 years now. And he's just getting it. So that tells you to him and to his handlers that he has the experience and that he is ready. You know, he was born to do this. You know, his amateur pedigree does tell his story of what type of well-rounded pro Rigondeaux has become and will continue to be. He's an older fighter, so you wouldn't rule him a prospect. Obviously, he's a world champion. He's 32 years old. But again, only 11 pro fights. So As you can see in the back of me, Guillermo Rigondeaux Jr. So I guess here comes part 2, maybe 7 to 8 years from now. You'll be hearing from his son, who's back in Cuba. This is the one. Again, I'm excited about this. I'm going to have what I call a free fight party, because we all know that the fight is on HBO Boxing After Dark. So I can't afford to have people pay me to come see the fight, but the fight is paying me. So that's the way I choose to look at it. I'm getting paid by just being able to watch this fight. So I'm going to have food and drinks here for everybody. Hopefully all my boxing purist friends come through to see this. I know a lot of them is going for a Donaire, and I love that because I like being the underdog. Rigondeaux right now I think is a 2.5 to 1 underdog, or maybe even 3 to 1. That's just because enough people don't know about Guillermo El Chacao Rigondeaux yet. But after April 13th, you will know and you will understand. And I guarantee you in the future, you won't bet against him again. Donaire behind me again. He asked for this test, and this is the whole VADA thing. They was doing, which you heard in Mayweather's situation, he wanted USADA testing, and I think that's like an Olympic style testing. But Donaire is the one fighter that wants to do random drug testing, where the people from VADA can walk in the gym any given time and test him, whether he's sparring or whatever he's doing. They can come in at any given time. He has to stop everything he's doing and take VADA testing, which is pretty decent, you know, because a lot of fighters, professional fighters, is getting caught with enhancements in their system, and I don't think that's right. I'm 38, going on 39, and in my era, which was not too long ago, but it wasn't as much talked about, or I didn't know of guys really wanting to do that. But again, I wasn't on the very top level of the sport, so who knows? Things is changing. Everybody wants to gain an advantage or whatever. I prefer my fighters not do anything like that. It's very unnecessary. Plus, I deal with a lot of prospects. Shout out to guys I did have in my past. Mighty Mike Arnautis, the great Greek fighter. Y'all might have seen him on ESPN2, HBO a few times. He always lost the big ones. I had him early on in his career. Another fighter of mine, Luis Castro from Philadelphia. Really, really good fighter. Skills. So I'm pushing for these guys. But Rigondeaux, again, just to give my prediction real quick, I like Guillermo Rigondeaux over Flash. I think he'll end the fight inside of 10, as I said, with body shots and movement and everything you can ask for in a complete fighter. So Rigondeaux inside of 10 over Nonito Donaire. I hope everybody tunes in and watches it. It's going to be a good one to enjoy. Again, I'm Simply Marvelous from Philadelphia. Check me out on Simply Marv 35. You'll see my son, Jameer, a.k.a. Little Future. Peace. See you soon at the fight.